All right, so today's question comes from a student, and the question is, how do I hit my driver straighter? It's a question I get all the time. I absolutely love the question, and I also make sure to answer it this way every time. Just so you know, and this is TrackMan data, 1 out of every 10,000 golf balls goes perfectly straight. It's not to say we're not hitting a lot of straight looking shots, but 1 out of 10,000 go perfectly straight. So it is best to know which way you're going to curve the ball and play that shot. But today we are going to talk about how to take some of that curve away from your shot, try to get you hitting straighter shots, hitting more fairways. So the first thing we need to understand today is a term called gear effect. Now, what is gear effect? Gear effect tells us what happens to our golf ball on off-center hits. So basically what happens here, if I have an off-center hit on my driver, the driver will deflect. Let's say I hit the toe. As the driver deflects, the ball actually smooshes against the face for a moment and it rolls across the face, creating spin from right to left. If vice versa, I hit the heel, my driver will again deflect. The ball will slightly roll across the face for a split second, creating left to right spin. So we see a lot of slicers hitting the ball off the heel. We see a lot of people hitting hooks, hitting the ball off the toe. So strike location is very important. My suggestion, go to the store, buy some face tape, buy some foot spray, whatever you want to do. Spray it on your face, put the tape on there, and just figure out where are you tending to hit the ball on the club face. If it's off center, what kind of changes can we make to fix that? And I'm looking for simple changes usually. Maybe you're too far away from the ball. Maybe you're too close to the ball. Maybe you're too tall or too low in your setup. There's simple setup changes we can make to make you have a more consistent strike in the middle of the face. All right, so speaking of club face, second most important piece here is learning how to swing with a square club face. I would say the vast majority of people that I teach tend to have an open club face throughout the swing, and they're fighting hard to square that thing up as they swing the club back down towards the ball. So my suggestion here is let's keep it simple. It's either going to be a grip change, so a strengthening or weakening of the grip, or we're going to have to play with some wrist angles as we swing the club down. So for those of you with an open face, you can try flexing the lead wrist down. For those of you with a closed face, you can try having a flatter wrist, taking some of that flex out of there. Both of those are going to change the face orientation of your club. Right, so understanding that is good, but I also want you to understand how to check yourself, how to know if your club face is square. And what we want to check is typically what I call the moment of truth, which is the position right here before impact, as the club shaft gets back parallel to the ground. Now what we're looking for here typically is a club face that the toe is pointed slightly down towards the ground, and we want to see this leading edge here, this top edge of the club, matching our spine line. Right, so this would be open, this would be closed. Now many of you are getting an open face as we swing down, and you're having to save that at the last minute. Typically, we're just not going to be able to time that up repeatedly. You'll time it up from time to time, but you're not going to be able to do it over and over again. That's why you don't have your consistency. So again, put yourself on video, use the slow motion camera in your iPhone or your smartphone, and check this position right here. Let's see where that club face is pointed, right at this moment of truth. If it's pretty square like so, we're doing pretty good. If it's closed, we've got some work to do. If it's open, we've got some work to do. Okay, so the final piece here is club path. Obviously we have to have a nice neutral path to hit a nice straight shot. We can't come too far from the inside. We also can't swing from the outside over the top and expect to hit straight shots. So my suggestion to you is practice with feedback. A pool noodle is the simplest device to help us understand how the swing arcs. So practice with a noodle, understanding that the swing comes from the inside. After we make contact, the club exits back to the left, and you can actually hit balls doing this. So I am a huge fan of practicing with feedback here. You know, it's a great way to accelerate your learning. We don't learn quite as fast if we don't have feedback, because then we're just guessing at what we're doing here. So I'm gonna put this here. I can actually hit shots with this here, and I will have some instant feedback on whether or not my swing path was okay. All right, so I had a little bit of a draw there, and my strike location was just slightly out on the toe. I've hit it right here. So we're gonna try to adjust there. We're gonna try to get a more centered strike and see if we can't hit a straighter shot. All right, so I'm just gonna double check my setup position here, making sure I'm in good balance, good posture, and the right distance from the ball. This should help me hit more in the center of the face here. Oh yeah. So yeah, that one is just above center, but right in the center of the face. I had very little curve on that one. I hit it right here. Helped me hit a nice straight shot. You know, those two swings were very similar, but the strike location made the difference in the amount of curvature I had on those balls. So pay attention very closely to that strike location on the face, super important. Work on squaring up that club face. Work on practicing with feedback to have a better club path. You're gonna start hitting straighter drives in no time. Thank you, enjoy that tip. See you next time.